Okay, it is 7:38 p.m. Sorry, 6:38 p.m. Welcome to the July 22nd, 2026 Parks and Recreation Commission special meeting. This is a hybrid meeting with commissioners, city staff, and members of the public participating virtually and at the Bellhaven Community Campus. So I'd like to introduce the commissioners and staff present. So Commissioner Yundong Chenyu, Commissioner Evan Dawkins is not here. Chair Joseph Grass, that's me. Commissioner Wangmin Lee, Commissioner Shilpa Patel, and Vice Chair Justin Van Buren. Okay. Staff present includes the Library and Community Services Manager Natalia Jones, Management Analyst Ashley Dixon, Recreation Coordinator Harrison Yee, and Recreation Coordinator Lee Awadella. Ashley will be helping facilitate the meeting. Ashley, will you please take a moment and provide instructions to the Commission and members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
Thank you, Chair. For members of the public who are attending this meeting virtually and wish to provide public comment, after the Chair calls for the public comment you wish to speak on, please engage the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. For those who are calling in from a landline or cell phone, please press *9 to raise your virtual hand. For members of the public attending in person, there are speaker cards available on the table. Please complete one and turn it into staff before public comment is called for the item you wish to speak on. If there are a large number of public commenters, the time limit may be adjusted by the chair in order to allow everyone a chance to comment. When your turn for public comment has arrived, staff will review it. Public comment portions of advisory body meetings are reserved for members of the public to provide comments directly to the commission. Commissioners will listen but cannot respond during this portion of the meeting. Conversations between commissioners and members of the public are not permitted during the commission meetings. And with that, I'll return the meeting to the chair.
Okay, so under public comment, the public may address the commission on any subject not listed on the agenda. Each speaker may address the condition of the commission. Once under public comment for a limit of 3 minutes, please clearly state your name and address or the political jurisdiction in which you live. The commission cannot act on items not listed on the agenda. Therefore, the commission cannot respond to non-agenda items brought up under public comment other than to provide general information. Ashley, do we have any public comment?
Are there any public comments for items not on the agenda? We have one person, and we'll just give people online a chance to raise their hand. You can press *9 or raise your virtual hand if you wish to make a public comment for any item not on the agenda. Amir Mushani, you may address the commission.
Sure. Do I just stand up?
You can stand.
Yeah, sure. Hi, hello everyone. My name is Amir Prashani, 882 Middle Avenue. I've actually just recently moved there, 3.5 going on to 4 months. Harrison has been very helpful actually. Nice to meet you in person. I think I've spoken to Khalid as well. I live next to the pickleball court. And moving in, I was basically told that this pickleball goes on until about 7 p.m. Was basically okay with it. I didn't quite realize it is probably one of the busiest pickleball courts, I'd say, in the Bay Area, I would say. It starts at 8 a.m. and was supposed to go till 10 p.m. at night, like scheduled till 10 p.m. at night. When I moved in there, the lights were staying on until 11:30 at night, and people were playing all the way till 11:30. This started like a few months of dialogue, and I really appreciate all the, I'm not just sitting there waiting to run to help like whoever picks up the phone and calls you, but it really felt like that. Nick also was very helpful. They turned the lights off for a couple months because they were trying to figure out what was wrong with the system or whatever it might be. The lights have been fixed now. They turn off around 10 p.m., maybe a little bit afterwards. But really my point is, from researching and learning, is that this pickleball court, it's 4 pickleball courts in 1 tennis court. So it's up to 12 people simultaneously playing one of the loudest racket sports known to, mankind. And basically, the situation is that, from learning that this was originally a pilot program that started probably when pickleball was just kind of getting started, and it's flourished to the point where it starts. I'd say they don't start before 8 a.m., but 8 a.m. it kicks off. And I live directly next to the courts, 7 days a week. Sunday mornings, no different than Monday mornings. So this goes on, and I just feel like all the residents that surround that pickleball court should be given a round of applause for 3 years of living in harmony with it. You know, I joke, if this was in LA or in Brooklyn, New York, I doubt it would have been this smooth of a process, but bless them all. But I really do believe that it is time to find a place where, and I'm a sports player myself, I love tennis, I love sports, I think it's a great thing. It just needs to be in a place where it is not affecting the literal quality of life. Well, just imagine yourselves, 7 o'clock, you've worked all day, you come home to your wife, your husband, your child, you sit down, and in just the quiet of the afternoon, it is 4 pickleball courts just going crazy, and people yelling and screaming, which is absolutely normal and fantastic. And the last thing I would say is that, you know, the pickleball courts are just these movable courts on a tennis court. There's nothing, if this was basketball, I get it, you have to plant basketball hoops and do all of that stuff. This can be moved within 5 minutes somewhere. Any parking lot that is in an area that where the sound wouldn't emanate could just be resurfaced in a corner and be designated for people to play it all night long, you know? I think it's excessive to go till 10 p.m. with lighted courts in a residential neighborhood. And I really believe that when this was conceived, no one had a clue that pickleball was gonna grow the way it has. So I'm really just here on behalf of the whole community, just to say, you know, I think it would be a fantastic thing to give back to the people that live around there, just to say, thank you for dealing with this, and we're gonna find these guys a great place to play, where they can play as long as they want, as hard as they want. It's just, you know, it is, I've never done this before. I was just thinking, I've never spoken in front of the commission before. And I do feel like I'm kind of like representing the community that I live in, and I'm as a new resident in an unbelievably beautiful neighborhood. Fantastic place to live, it's so amazing. It's just a shame, we just have to endure this, you know, kind of like I love tennis. I think the sound of tennis is smooth and beautiful sound. And so pickleball is just a little fascinating. So anyways, thank you very much for your time. Betsy Nash, I spoke to, and was very sympathetic. She actually recommended me to come here and also run to the city council, and sounded like, you know, there is a possibility to have a conversation about this and about, you know, finding a solution that, like I said, could really improve the quality of life of people living, you know, going to bed, waking up, spending their weekends. And I totally support the quality of life of the athletes and the people that will play, but they can play, we can figure out a place for them to play. Unfortunately, none of us were all just there, you know, so they played for like 2 hours ago, but the other, what is it? 14 hours a day, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's 14 hours. So anyways, thank you very much. Thanks again for helping me out, and yeah, that's my story.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you. Thanks.
Are there any other public comments or items not on the agenda?
Okay, next item is D1, Parks and Recreation Commission update and report out on completed self-guided park tours. Ashley, do we have any public comments on this item?
Are there any public comments on item D1?
Oh, actually, I think we actually do the presentation and then pass our comments after. Or I'm kind can't vote this one. That's a question before.
So just a little background on the park tours. The commission agreed to tour the parks and then do individual reports on it. So I know we have one today from Chair Grass. Are there any other commissioners that are interested in reporting out on a park tour, a self-guided park tour? Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's all right with everybody, we'll share Grass.
From talk. And there we go. So this is Edwell Bayfront Park. I have a lot of photos, but I'm gonna go through them pretty quickly. So it's kind of a photo and then tour of the park. Next slide. Next slide.
All right, no problem. Let me stop sharing and then reshare this first.
Sure.
I'm just gonna test to make sure it's. Is that?
Okay, that's the next slide, perfect. So this is the overview from Google Maps of Bedwell Bayfront Park. So it is located at the end of Marsh Road. So to get there, you cross 101 on Marsh Road. Marsh Road then gets to Bayfront Expressway, and actually Marsh Road continues into the park. So the park is this green area right here. It's about 160 acres. It was put in the early 2000s, converted from landfill to a public park. It was a major project. Two times in the park's early history, there was a proposal to turn it into a golf course that was rejected. There was another proposal to put organized sports there and Little League and the like, that was rejected. So the park remains as a place for unscheduled, unorganized sports. And if you're gonna go with a group of more than 15 people to do something, you actually need to just follow request just to keep out of things. And so this is an overview. Right down here is Snowflake. Over here is Meta. On the far side, Bayfront Expressway extends here, goes this way past Meta, and then the Dunbar Bridge is on the right hand side, just to orient you. This is Salt Marsh here, and here I colored in blue. And that's subject to the tide, so it'll go into being almost dry with these little rivulets, and then it'll actually flood on the tidal schedule. There's a ton of wildlife there. There's a parking lot here, or parking area in front here. There's the main parking structure with the restrooms here, or back here as well. You can choose to either go flat route on the periphery of the park, or you can actually dive in here, which is a very elevated mini mountain on top of the landfill. When you're there, it doesn't seem like landfill at all. It just seems like nature. Just actually a wonderful job they did on this place. And next slide. And that's a salt pond over there on the left, the white part. So this is the Menlo Park City website, which describes the rules, which I won't go through, but you hear me. I'll just point out that one important thing to remember is that the park closes at varying hours depending on the time of the year. So occasionally, someone will drive their car in the park, will lose track of the time, and maybe at 5:30 in December, they'll get locked in. So if you get locked in, call the Menlo Park Police number and they'll let you out. Let's see, next slide. So this is the entrance to the park. On the Bayfront Expressway, next slide. When you get into the park, you look to the right, there is Bayfront Expressway, there is Snowflake. Meta is further down that way, and there's a wonderful tidal marsh right here, and a little bit of parking on the left. And then this is going this way, is going around the periphery of the park at ground level. Great place to take kids and strollers. Actually, little kids go there with like very small bikes, so that's a good place for people who don't want to climb the mountain. Next slide. Another view of the marsh. Next slide. I shot this all in one day, so basically we're moving a little further up. There's a front parking area right here, and an entrance right here, and then this is where you can go up the hill. Next slide. Going further on the left-hand side of the park, a little bit close up. Next slide. And this is the main parking area. There's a very nice restroom and water fountains, and the water all works great. And then if you pivot to the right, next slide. This is what the main entrance looks like going uphill. Next slide. Once you're up at the top of the hill, on top of the landfill, and it doesn't, I hate to say landfill, it doesn't seem like it. There's just gas vents every once in a while, but you really can't tell. I've been there a number of times. There's no smell. It's great. There's a lot of wildlife. That's what it looks like with trails crisscrossing. Next slide. If you look left, there is an old salt flat that used to be harvested by Cargo Salt. So they actually sold the land to the public years ago, and actually restored much of the perimeter of the bay to be a really important land for migratory birds. So it's just a great success around the Bay Area. It's a huge amount of land. So Cargill used to come with a tractor with a blade and salt. Well, actually, what you do is you flood the bay with a little bit of salt water, let it evaporate. It leaves the salt behind, and they used to come behind with a tractor and scoop the salt off the surface, and that's how you get table salt. And instead of mining it from a mine, so that's another way of doing it. It's very actually interesting operation. If you actually made your blade go a little bit too low, you'd actually start scooping out mud and ruin the salt. And if you scoop too high, you get salt. So anyway, that's all gone now from the Bay Area. So looking left down the hill, there's the restroom and parking lot. So next slide. Looking to the right, great place to fly a kite. I shot all these photos in one day, so it was all happening in the park. So there's a family flying a kite, and there's the Bayfront Expressway, and there's Meta, and from the marsh there in the background. I've flown kites there with my kids for years. It's a great place. Next slide. This is the Conservation Corps doing some work up there. I ran into them actually chopping down a dead tree. It's actually very nicely maintained. The grass is kind of short, fire danger at bay, so they do a really good job maintaining it. Next slide. There's some kids out riding bikes. There's lots of bikes. If you're I actually taught my daughter how to mountain bike ride there when she was younger, so it's a nice, easy place to ride your bike, and it's pretty safe. Next slide. By the way, I love how that little girl in the front has a full face helmet on if she's really serious. So this is the back on the top of the mountain, looking out over the bay, and you've got to be there to see it. It's just spectacular. It's you stand there and it's like you've got this huge wide open space that's really hard to find in the Bay Area. It's really unique. And the signage here is in pretty good shape and describes what you're looking at out in the distance. Next slide. Looking a little further down, there's some scale of person. Next slide. Dunbar Bridge, a little further to the right, you can see the tides out. So this is all exposed when the tide comes in. It floods and it's all water. And the waterfowl love that. And if you come at the right time of day, usually early morning or the late afternoon, and if the tide is in the right place, you'll see a lot of wildlife catching critters in the water. Next slide. And here's a view of the original Meta campus in the background. Used to be Sun Microsystems campus, which actually I used to work at ages ago. It's one of my history there. Actually, my ex-wife used to work there at Meta too, so it's kind of interesting. It's right in the middle of things. Next slide. So this is where we were looking off the mountain. Those little display pieces right there. There are people, and kind of gives you like a sense of the immense scale of the place. And then here's just the virtual trail. It gives you an idea of what the trail looks like. kind of a mixture of like old asphalt, and packed ground, and, it seems in kind of decent shape, but I will mention the Friends of Baywell, there is the group, Friends of Baywell, Friends of the Bedwell, Bayfront Park, say that sometimes fast, who have presented before our commission. You know, we've discussed before that they'd like us to really review these plan for this park and put some more resources into it to do some more maintenance work. So at some point, we can visit that and talk about the park and find out from staff and from their perspective, you know, how things are going at this park. But anyway, it was great to hear from that group. And I think we should, you know, work with them. It's really nice to have a group that's really concerned about the park. And kind of leverage them to help us and be our eyes and ears about the park. We do have a full-time ranger, that we, employ, that we've had talk about at a previous meeting that will go to the park. Next slide. And go a little further, this is the bridge that goes from Meta across Bayshore, Bayshore Expressway, sorry, and then lands in the park, so you can actually walk from Meta into this gigantic park. Next slide. This is me when it was raining a couple months ago, actually, that was like, I don't know, 9 months ago. Anyway, it turns very green when it rains. There are some potholes. It's navigable, but you know, probably could use a little bit of maintenance, but it's, you can get through. You might get a little money when it rains. Next slide. So wildlife. So I'm going to conclude with a bunch of photos I shot on that rainy day. I was speaking of class at Stanford on nature photography, and I showed up right before the class, and I was trying to find this red-tailed hawk. I didn't find them that day, but I found 10 other species of birds. So pretty amazing. So that's mallard, the most photographed bird in the world. A little trivia. Next slide. So that's the red-tailed hawk, which I got on another occasion. So he's coming in for landing, and he's actually landing on, next slide, one of the gas vents on the landfill. So you can see them hunting. They will hunt all kinds of creatures. Their favorite are squirrels. It's gruesome when they catch one, but that's their food supply. Next slide. So this is a gull. There's a couple different varieties of that fine example this one. Next slide. Another kind of gull, California gull. This is an egret taking off. And next slide. And next we have this is called a grebe, G-R-E-E-B. So this is a duck. It's an aquatic markham. It's a different species. They're really cool. This is a golden crowned sparrow. You can't see his crown, but that's a golden crowned sparrow. Next, this is a raven. Next, a silly goose. Next, this is an American avocet. And keep in mind, this is all on the same day. So this is like, I was shooting this with, you know, a nice camera with a really long lens, but you will see this wildlife if you get your time on it. It's pretty spectacular. Next slide. And this is a black-necked stilt flying off, and you can actually see them doing a lot of activity, landing, poking around the water. It's just really fascinating. Sometimes you see giant flocks of birds. It's just wonderful, and you never know what you're going to see. Sometimes you see nobody. Sometimes that red-tailed hawk is not there, but everybody else is home, so it's just really fun. Next slide. This is almost done. This is a burrowing owl habitat. This is a sign of the park. I have personally never seen one there, but the Friends of Bedwell have a small picture of one that they found there. So they are there. It's an owl that actually is a protected species that lives underground. It'll take over other creatures' nests, like squirrels, or they'll let somebody else take them, or they'll live under a pile of rocks. So to show you what they look like, I had a shot of a photo of one in Palo Alto. Next slide. So that's what they look like. So if you ever see one of these, give me a call and I'll be there in 5 minutes with my camera. They're really kind of rare and they're really beautiful animals. You should stay in the trail when you look at them so you don't scare them off. But this particular one just popped up on a rock and stared at me for half an hour. So they're just really, really interesting species, creatures. And since they've been protected, they're actually their population's coming back. It's northern, so they're in pretty good shape, but they are a protected species. And that's it.
I'm sorry, did you mention what do they eat?
Oh, what do they eat? Vermin, basically. So, little, they don't eat squirrels, but they eat, little, just like mice, rats, rodents, so, you know. And it's interesting, they're pretty shy, but, you know, if you say, you know, I was probably like 50 feet away from him, officially it's supposed to say 25 feet away. But they're pretty fearless, and if they feel threatened, they instantaneously just hop on the ground. They're really smart. There's a family member there, so he's kind of the sentinel that's watching. Squirrels will do that, so you'll see like one squirrel watching and the others are on the ground. And some they actually are preyed upon by hawks, so looking for so a hawk appears, they get very interested. So just pretty cool creatures. And that's it. So I guess let's do, see if there's any public comment, and then we go to commissioner, question and answer.
Are there any public comments on item D1? No public comment.
Okay, let's see, with that, did any commissioner, and any questions, comments? Otherwise, I encourage you to visit the park, it's a really cool place. And I think it's better for paths of Atlantic, it's much more wide open spaces. And you can kind of get lost there if you want, but there's a lot of people there, but it's just a huge space, and we're just really lucky to have that park there. And it doesn't seem to be overwhelmed by the businesses that are there. It's really nice, they built a bridge. So things that I think from my perspective, we're better.
Thank you for that wonderful report out and wonderful photo.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think, so on your recent visit, you know, in the past, we've had presentations by the Friends of Federal Bayfront. And they talked about, you know, creating that secondary parking lot towards the rear.
Right.
Given what we saw in the recent visit, do you have any recommendations for improvements that are immediate or maybe secondary along that parking lot that was discussed?
Yeah, I think the parking lot is the reason why that's kind of a rigid issue is just occasionally you get a lot of people there and it gets crowded. And then you have people that are encroaching on, you know, the park itself, and cars are parked where they shouldn't be, and it gets to be kind of a mess. So that it has been a rigid issue. And I think we should look at trail maintenance, and just fix some of the potholes and just, you know, check out some of the drainage. And especially, I would prioritize the trail that goes around Brick Free, because a lot of parents with young kids go through there with strollers and kids with small bikes. So I would prioritize that, you know, whatever, that's probably like 10% of the trail. If that were, I think that's the most important to just get in good shape. But then if you look uphill further, sometimes there you can see there's some runoff, and a couple trails have been kind of washed out, there's some ruts. So but I mean, overall, I think the park's in good shape. It's really great to see the conservation forest taking care of that dead tree. So at least basic fire suppression, I think is really good. The grass is always maintained and cut short, so that's, you know, most important. So
Yeah, I think one thing it is worth highlighting is that, I know there is future development, there's a new hotel that's supposed to be built. Within walking distance of the park. And an increased amount of residents living across the Dumbarton Expressway. So I expect that park to receive a lot more traffic. And so anything like these parking amenities, or we talked about also signage, right? Just, you know, entrance of the trails and how to work your way around so you don't actually get lost in the park. I think that would be maybe it makes sense to move it up in terms of priority for the commission. Maybe even in terms of the master plan, so that, we're ready for this influx of people that will be visiting the park, increasingly into the future.
Yeah, it's great. I think we should work on agendizing that and parking especially when you're there. If you think about it, there's not that much parking if a lot of people decide to go there, and then it turns into kind of a mess. And it's not really a place to really back out and turn. So occasionally you can get jam ups there, and it's just, no fun. So yeah, we should think about that. And population's growing. There is a lot. Well, despite Meta's layoffs, there's actually still more employees arriving and more amenities. And you live in the neighborhood, so you see there's a lot of activity. So yeah, we should think ahead. Because if we don't think ahead, it's doing any kind of capital improvement takes a while. So. Anybody else?
Joel mentioned Harrison put together the 2026 community fun run that went through that whole thing.
Oh, yes.
So big, great, that park is near and dear to the commission.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. Okay, all right, so let's with that. Sharing meeting. With that, public comment, please. Close. Okay, and no more comments on this. So moving on to regular business, we have item E1. So that is approval of the June 24th, 2026 meeting minutes. Ashley, do we have any public comments on this item?
Are there any public comments on item E1 approving the meeting minutes from June 24th, 2026? No comment.
Okay, let's see, with that public comment is closed. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to approve these minutes?
Yes. I motion to approve the minutes from June 24th, 2026, Parks and Recreation Commission meeting.
I'll second.
There's a motion to approve the minutes from June 24th, 2026. Commissioner Chin, have you voted? Approved. Chair Grass, have you voted?
Approved.
Commissioner Lee, have you voted?
Approved.
Commissioner Shulka, have you voted? Sorry, Patel, have you voted?
Approved.
And Vice Chair Van have you voted?
Approved.
The motion passes. Commissioner Thompson absent.
Okay, great. Next is item E2, recommended Parks and Recreation Work Plan 2025-26 progress report out to City Council. Staff will provide a brief introduction on this item. Ashley, do we have any public comment on this item?
Are there any public comments on item E2 to recommend Parks and Recreation Work Plan for 25-26 progress report out? No.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
The next test slides. Okay.
Great. Okay, so these are the slides that I presented last time. Everyone had a chance to take a look at them. There's not much change, although Ashley has done a wonderful job adding a bunch of photos. And Ashley, by the way, I've sent photos from my last presentation to you and more photos. And I think, yeah, just you're doing a great job just coordinating the list. So
Thank you, I have Mrs. Burns. Appreciate it.
yeah, so it's so just wonderful. So anyway, I thought we'd just go through the slides, and I just want to hear from the commission if there's anything you want me to say during the meeting that's not in the slides. With that, let's go through one at a time. So there's title.
Okay. That's frozen. The commission's really like slow to. Okay. Sorry about that.
All right, so, let's see, first one, so primary goals, so we talked about this. And I kind of grouped things into what our overall function was, and then next, review of departments and operations is another big chunk of what we do. We engage with the community, and I wanted to make sure, as we started last year, making sure we break out Bellhaven Community Campus operation. And we keep our staff is doing a great job keeping their eye on the ball as far as that big campus. It's a really huge task to bring that up and run it, so that's great. And then, of course, we should be using the 2019 Parks and Rec Facility Master Plan as our guideline. Anything else? Anybody wants to add? Okay, next slide. So new departments and operations. Actually, along the lines of our initial speaker, we did have a discussion on RAG sport policy, picnic rental policy, and recreational facility use guidelines. And we'll continue that sort of thing next year. Any comments? Okay, next slide. So at last year's meeting when I presented, we did mention that to the city council that we wanted them to, we made a, comment, we all voted that we wanted to make a comment that we wanted the council to, address the aquatic situation. We knew they were working on it, and we just want to let them know we were public. So we received the aquatic results, and I've got my personal impression where things are going pretty well. There is the city council voted on a to reduce the amount of money that the city is providing to the pool operator. So that's kind of what's going on. We did have to report. Tim Sheeper was here, and I think it was pretty well received. We didn't have any issues or questions at the meeting really. But all I just mentioned though is we received the report. We've got the aquatic pool survey results from city staff. And then separately, we received a report from the park ranger services contractor. Anything else anybody feels I should, add to this in terms of what I mentioned or commented?
No, that was really cool.
Okay, next slide. So support for Bellhaven campus, we received a really great presentation from staff on this. Things are going wonderfully. The main takeaway I got, my main interest was it's interesting that the after school care is full, it's really well utilized, and I think they're trying to adapt to what the public wants. So I think things are going pretty well there, and I'll probably mention to city council that I'm just really thrilled with how staff is really paying attention to this sector. I think we're doing a wonderful job, but we want to keep hearing from the public and surveying, figuring out exactly what the public is experiencing and adjust. So any comments from the commission on this? Next slide. I didn't know that was in the animated. Yes. Oh.
That's cute.
That's really cool.
That's Harrison.
You, Harrison?
You didn't know that?
Um,
That's
Yeah, I gotta put a cat
That's
in
me.
the
That's me.
Harrison, the nutty squirrel. Okay, so, all right, so community engagement, we received presentations from the Friends of Bedwell Bayfront Park. I'll mention, the 6K run was just a great success at Bedwell Park. Actually, thanks to the commission members that were on the subcommittee that got that going as well. There were more runners than just a squirrel, so I mean, the runners chase you around. Okay, next. And then some more shots from the run. Okay, next. And I just gave a presentation on self-guided park tours. And then there's one shot of this local park, which is great. And we hosted Drew Combs at our meeting, who's our official Parks and Rec Council liaison. Okay, next. Youth Advisory Report, I think it was great. We partnered with another commission. So next. And there's been some change this year. So I'll just mention that I'm just going to personally mention that I think staff has done a great job with this big leadership transition. Seems like things are proceeding like, as far as I'm concerned, like nothing happened. You guys are doing an amazing job. I'm sure internally you're like running around in the hallways going like, we gotta hire 6 more people, but I appreciate you guys are navigating this transition. It's yeah, you're doing a great job. Okay, and then next slide. Moving forward, so Bellhaven is at the top. And this is where I'll just open it to city council's feedback, so I'm probably gonna maybe just take like 5 minutes on the slide. And see if they can look the same. Question?
Yeah, we're gonna pull that board out in front of the word council.
Yeah.
The third bullet point, the should only be 4 bullet points.
Um,
Okay, the same one, that's like feedback.
Oh, yeah, okay, got it.
Parks and Recreation Commission,
Yeah.
report to city,
okay.
and then it's bullet point for council.
My format error, so you go to council, second
Yeah.
bullet, the bottom backspace, yeah.
Is that one asking for feedback on the work plan report out, or is it asking for feedback on the 26-27 work plan? And maybe I should add, some of the missions are using this like that end to ask, is there anything you want us to know for our 26-27 work? So I was wondering if that's what that is, or if it's feedback on the report out.
I don't think that was intended, but I think that's a great idea. So I'm all for adding another bullet point. We'd like to hear from the city council, your feedback about what we should focus on next year. That kind of an affirmation would sound good.
I think we could honestly just write that we're looking forward to their feedback for our 2026-2027 work plan.
Right.
Because I think that would be like feedback from this that we can apply for the next annual. I think the verbiage could be changed. No.
Great. I've got that, so I'll add those words to sense, yeah. Very to the point.
I think this is perfect, so I think that we can. Probably so. What we accomplished in the year here. I think, pictures are great.
Almost like
Oh, and
just
some more pictures she had us.
they had a pickle seniors did.
But to Tony Kane, I was very impressed that he actually has the kids in the after school program help out with the seniors meals. It's not, it's just great. Right, that's it. And what's the date of the presentation again before it comes? Put you on the spot.
Yes. Say left, yeah,
So, yeah, which,
we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, so I just want to invite any of the Parks and Rec staff that would like to be there. Staff will be there to support me.
And so the wording here will be, Parks and Recreation Commission is looking forward to seeing council's feedback on.
Feedback for our 2026-2027 work plan. For I'd say for our 2026. Yeah, right there.
spinning ball.
Spinning wheel of death. Okay, well, I will change that to say how.
Yeah, and so need funding for. Basket PC for certain. Oh, there we go.
I'm sorry, put it on spot.
Okay, and then any. More questions from the commission?
I guess, I just have a couple of comments,
Yes.
so one thing that. I guess I find helpful is like, self-reflection as a commission. Last year, the 6K goal was a product of trying to reflect on. You know, what did the commission actually accomplish, what can we do more in the future? I don't see something like that here, so I was wondering if I could make some recommendations. One area I think that needed improvement from our side was being more involved with the youth commission. I think the youth commission is actually under our commission purview, but we, you know, I think this is a failure of me personally, as well as maybe the commission could have done better, but like. I think interacting with them more than just receiving their final presentation would be. Is imperative, like. The feedback that they gave was that, I think they interacted with, I think the library commission, or forgive me, I'm misremembering their presentation, but they. The youth commission members were able to kind of interface with the library commission and. Gain mentors and other kind of experience, valuable experience that, you know, we could also be providing, so hopefully. This commission next year can do something similar and maybe pair up with. Individuals, you know, one-to-one with individuals on the youth commissions that we could kind of provide similar mentorship.
Yeah, and actually, the comment on that, I think we talked about sending a member of our commission to the YAC meetings.
Exactly, yeah, being that, just being present, right, more than we have already. And then secondly, we had editing the master plan. Just, yeah, we highlight that it's from 2019 year, it's 2026, it'll be 2027. And, you know, I feel like that document, I know we've amended it a couple years ago, but maybe we could consider doing a full refresh on that somehow. That's something for you guys to consider. And then, yeah, and also just challenging ourselves to create new goals, whether it be continuing the 6K or creating a new event for the community. I think that's something that we should try to continually challenge ourselves to do. You know, and we might be limited by budgetary concerns, but at the same time, I think one of the great things that we've seen that we can accomplish is to create these great events for the community. So hopefully we could kind of continue that tradition going forward. Great. So yeah, I don't know if you can add a slide or like self-reflection or something like that.
So I've got it, so I would say, I'll call like our ideas for next year. And maybe this will prompt the city council to then add, we can add this for the. Actually, maybe the next slide after moving forward, our ideas for next year. Number one was getting more involved with youth advisory commission, which is actually is chartered by us. And I can actually mention one idea we have is to send Parks and Rec commission members to YAC meetings. Number two, review and edit the 2019 master plan this year. Make sure we follow that. And I'm reading this out so the commission can hear, we can have an affirmation, this is a good idea. And then number three, we'd like to create new goals like the 6K run to continually challenge ourselves next year. So that's good, everybody. Anything else?
Yeah, one more thing would be kind of a completing the feedback loop that our commission does. We hear from members of the public, for example, the gentleman spoke about Eaton Park and the pickleball experience that he's been experiencing. But we often don't report out on what how individual issues have been acted upon. So when possible, if we could kind of present maybe the efforts of the commission, the efforts that they undertook to kind of resolve some of the issues that the public is currently facing. So again, like completing that feedback loop so that we're not seeing the same comments month after month, year after year.
So it sounds like you're proposing keeping a list. This is appropriate to discuss here for future plans, keeping a list of issues we've heard from and then reviewing them, just agendizing a review of those issues later on in the year, like 6 months later. Okay, this came up 6 months ago. What happened? And we can agendize it for discussion.
That's great, yes, to kind of instill some sort of sense of accountability within our commission.
Right. Does that sound okay, Ashley, as far as how things run?
I'm thinking of different ways we can do it. We can definitely discuss further. So we can probably do something during a report out and then maybe just compile that later on. I don't know how many interactions you have, how many, would that be maybe like one report out per commissioner? I'm trying to figure out, is this like a huge quantity to follow up on, or is it?
I don't think it has to be a huge quantity. It could be, you could start with one and kind of like develop that feedback loop so that the member of the public tunes in, you can see, oh yeah, this was a problem and this is how the commission will resolve it. Obviously you can't fix everything, but if we are able to fix something, for example, federal bayfront or whatever, burrowing owl, maybe we helped their habitat. We should highlight what we've accomplished.
So I would suggest when we have a discussion, like when the friends from Bedwell, when they present us, we could have said, okay, you could say, chair, make sure you agendize that for review 6 months from now. So we do that as issues come up. Let's say, okay, let's review this in 6 months, and I can keep a list. That sound like anything? Sure.
We could we could do commissioner report outs and then sort of keep a running list of feedback that has been received, and then maybe with that being like right next to when we talk about the tentative agenda calendar. That might work out well. So maybe something to discuss early 26, 27 work.
And when's that come up on the agenda? Oh, yeah, okay. There's nothing. So we can, okay. So at least for this presentation, I'll add an item 4 that we're working to complete the feedback loop of issues that come up in the commission and review status later on. So it'll be looking forward. And then I just want to mention to commission members, your general affirmation that those 4 items I've mentioned are a good idea.
Yeah, I think so. I think that more involvement with the Youth Advisory Commission was problematic for us from a meeting standpoint because we were always meeting on the same days. The Youth Advisory Commission has changed their schedule for this year, so they are now meeting on a different day, so that we may go to their meetings and they may go to our meeting. Obviously, schools have started today, it's started back up yet, but they adjusted their schedule so that we can do that. So that's happened. Review and edit the master plan is currently on our agenda calendar, November 18th, 2026. So we will be looking at that in very short order so that we can address it. And I think that a new goal similar to this one is a great idea. Brandon, not sure what that goal should be. More dog parks, better dog parks. I know the dog park at Eton, people are said it it's still closed. If the fuel usage or some things, maybe it's, you know, community gardens, maybe it's, trees. Oh, there. While continuing to support further future iterations of this expand to look forward to embarking in anyone better.
Okay, so I'll keep the item to review and edit the 2019 master plan. It's been agendized, but that is something. I think it's good to mention that like, hey, that's something we're really gonna focus on. I agree with you that. It's something that, like friends of Ben Wilson might have fallen by the wayside. We should really review that. I'm glad that's on the agenda and it will be on the slide. So, anything else? All right, yes.
I have like a comments regarding the slides of presentation, but regarding the topic of more involvement with the active, I'm thinking if we can generate like some projects. For example, just an example, like if they're interested to do like a self-guided park tour or city facility tour to generate like a report and the proposed improvements, if we can, if like our commission can have some like projects for them, like last year they come with, I think it's a library or environmental commission to do some social meeting campaign or something, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I think, let's see. Oh, yeah, if you wanna, I can read that back to you actually as we talk.
Was it social media,
Like a self-guided city park tour or city facility tour, yeah.
But yeah, the first step is when we attend their meetings, we chat with them and see what they're interested in. You might get some great ideas from them. That's what I really like to hear from them. Like, hey, here's what's wrong with the city, you guys should do this.
did I catch all your items?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reviewing right now, goals. I would say establish system for tracking feedback received from the community and reviewing at a later date.
Review progress.
Review progress, right? Great. And the title of the slide would be something like, our ideas for next year. Then I'll ask city council what their ideas are.
So showing this for the 20 years and next time. The next meeting.
Yes, yeah. So you just.
Any other edits from you, Madam?
All right. Great. That I'll just again say, is there any public comments?
there any public comment on item two? No comments, people would help to leave, we could get a recommendation if you guys
Oh.
feel that.
Yeah, so I will. Affirmation or vote?
A vote would be great.
Okay, so I would like to then ask for a vote on if everyone is happy with the edits that we've made to the slides and the slides as they are. So would anybody like to make a motion? I guess it was that a motion?
I think that could be a motion.
That was my motion, okay. Can I have someone second that to then we take a vote to approve these slides?
Second.
And
There's a motion to recommend the Parks and Recreation Work Plan in 2025-26 progress report out to City Council. Commissioner Cheney, how do you vote? Approve. Chair Grant, how do you vote?
approve.
Commissioner Lee, how do you vote?
Approved.
Commissioner Patel, how do you vote?
Approved.
And Vice Chair Van Buren, how do you vote?
I agree.
The motion passes with the document policy.
Okay, so next is item E3, prepare and recommend Parks and Recreation Work Plan for 2026-27. Ashley, do we have any public comments on this item?
Are there any public comments on item E3 to prepare and recommend Parks and Recreation Commission Work Plan for 26-27? If you're online and you'd like to make public comment, you can use the raise hand feature, or if you're dialed in, you can use star line. No public comment.
Okay,
No, let me share. So this is the current work plan. I put it into a Word document just so it's a little bit more workable. We don't have to come to a conclusion on what this looks like today. We have one more meeting to still work on it, so we have the August meeting. If it doesn't feel ready today, this is just to discuss, recommend you feel ready.
pause to read through.
Exactly, yeah, that's pretty soon.
And I guess we want to add to this what we just discussed, the ideas that when one that talked to us, and then those ideas.
My initial thought is that if we are gonna have a goal, having a more active and mutually beneficial relationship with these advisory committee, that 0.7 on this work plan should be a more active goal, as opposed to just periodically receiving presentations from them. And I don't know if we break that into another bullet point. And if we pull them out of that bullet point and give them their own, I don't know if we add like a sub bullet under there, but I think that there should be more active wording pertaining to that. Initial.
I kind of like maybe grouping, I propose adding a sentence saying, encourage, or we could say schedule Parks and Rec Commission members to attend YAC meetings. And solicit project ideas. By jointly working with YAC. Or solicit ideas for joint project work with YAC. So we're gonna attend their meetings, and the goal is to actually have do a joint project with them and get them involved. Here's what else. Okay, so actionable. I'd also like to hear from YAC as well. What their feedback is, or solicit their feedback. For our commission.
Should I leave out the youth programs and just receive feedback from the app, or no preference in that?
Let's see. I say, I was more thinking receive feedback and react on our commission work. And I'll go to the meeting and I'll just say, hey, I wanna ask you guys. How are we doing as a Parks and Rec Commission? Are we running the classes you need, are the facilities I've made for you, do they actually work with the youth? Can people your age get access to facilities or to adult centered? I want to just answer that, solicit that feedback at their meeting. And just prompt them to let us know how we're doing, so. Rest of all, does that sound like what you're going after?
Yeah.
More specific for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, right? Prefer something a little more. No.
I guess it's room. I guess it's some, right, it's something we could, we'll add the specifics and we dive into their meeting and hear from them.
If there's a desire to tweak that a little bit, you could always, or I can put you in touch with Deshawn Williams, who's one of the, she was the, liaison. She might have some thoughts, obviously, but.
That's a great idea.
Okay. Recap everything we added to the last agenda.
I think we have to change that review progress towards the goals in the 2019 Parks and Rec. Would it be also adding new goals to a very old? report?
Yeah,
Yes.
to the future,
Yeah,
because,
that's the number, I think that's the first one. First one?
Right,
that's pretty.
Oh, no, there is.
yeah, so actually review progress. For the goals of 20 master plan.
And again,
And revise, or, you know.
Yeah.
because we're gonna start working on the people.
We want to have 2026.
Yes, it's next one, next week. Yeah, sorry, November. Go through. Well, how are we gonna?
We just say revise for the future.
For the forthcoming facility master plan,
Just revise for current needs, right?
yeah, right.
Just keep it simple.
Nice. So, and,
Simple, stop adding years. That makes it look really old, 2019.
yeah,
Thank you.
I heard COVID's over.
what was that? 2019.
It's back, that's ancient history.
What the? I think a lot of that stuff is really clean this up, it's been less clear. There were super difficult ones to do. Does everyone still want to have Bellhaven have their separate bullet point? We talked about it last year. I think it's fine.
I like that one just because I want the community to hear that we're focusing on them and they have a bullet point and I want us to remember that. I've been in Menlo Park for 30 years and it's been way too long to, get that center and I'm so glad we have it. I really want to make sure we focus on it. And it's interesting, I've been talking with some people in other cities, it's really, it's interesting thing that you can get donations, when you put in a giant facility, then you really have to keep your eye on the ball about how you keep funding it. And I want to make sure that those people at the center have our support and our eye on the ball. And it's a really big undertaking. I don't want to underestimate what staff is doing, like having to adjust, put all these programs out there, and you're not sure if you got it right, you have to constantly make sure you're doing the right thing for the community, so. I like having our eye on the ball explicitly.
I appreciate you saying that.
I like the question, I think that when the staff presented, I think Longman asked the question, like, okay, like, what's going wrong? Like, you know, what do you need help with? And then what programs are like not as well funded, and it came out like, oh, it's hard to hire certain people and you know, having trouble hiring instructors in certain areas and you know, the after school program is maxed out, and that's because the facility is not big enough. So I just like to, you know, hear from staff, encourage them to tell us, you know, what's not gonna work. Even in the face of their manager.
Yeah.
So I think this looks good, I think, we can look at this afterwards and ruminate on it and discuss again at the next meeting, so it'll give people a chance to individually think of their edits to this, but I think it's a good start.
Did we wanna throw that little clue up here about, a way to compile the feedback that commissioners receive and put it on the slide? So that it's in there and put it on here so we don't forget about it.
Yeah, that was what, yeah, let's put that in the little form and then leave the feedback, I'm checking out, this actually checking on all the other ones. I don't know if we put explicitly, we might put explicitly create new goals, one suggested. Like the 6K. And continually challenge ourselves. And just a comment too along those lines, I like how we should use the ability to form subcommittees, so we have the 6K fund run subcommittee, so. If we get something that comes up in the meeting and we should review it in 6 months, we can. Form off a subcommittee to study it for max 6 months. Anything else? Since this is final, I don't think we have to have a vote, but just a general nod, we'll take this up again and it's moving. Okay. We usually will, okay. All right. You're ready, item F. Informational items. Let's see, so F1 adopted city budget fiscal year 2026-27 updates. There'll be a staff report, so I'm very interested in this one. Actually, do we have any public comment on this item to start?
Are there any public comments on item F1? No public comment.
Okay, actually, it'll be the presentation.
There is no presentation.
Oh.
Just want the commission to receive, the links to the update or adopted budget for 26-27. So big change for us, which is kind of not really us, we're the, that's to the aquatic calendars. That's it, I'll leave that there.
Okay. Yeah, I might talk to you guys at the agenda meeting, and it'd be nice to hear from, when he's ready to hear from Nick, like what he thinks the side effects of the overall impact is of the budget,
Yes,
because I'm sure you're still digesting it. It's a bit of relief that you're still be able to hire staff. And I'm hearing, talking about the budget, that the number of classes is stable, that we're not cutting classes.
the number of classes is stable, Khalid maybe and Harrison could talk about that a little bit. One thing that we're doing as part of our CAPRA accreditation process is just to come up with sort of an assessment process, to environment and also just a good thing to do. So we will be looking at how our classes doing, are people enrolling?
Right.
Nobody's really participating. Is that, and maybe it's bringing a lot of value, maybe it's important that we provide that class, I'm not saying that that's gonna be the only factor, but just different things to consider. So, we'll be looking at it as part of that process.
Sounds good.
Did that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, Ashley kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of in terms of. Classes and program offerings that we have. Like you said, it's pretty much kind of staying stable. Obviously, there were adjustments that did need to be made slightly for some of the programs, but. Overall, yeah, things are basically remaining pretty stable, kind of keeping things kind of status quo from. Previous seasons, and then as Ashley mentioned, with kind of all this going on, we have decided, we have kind of started putting the efforts into kind of revamping our review and approval process for the contract instructors and kind of, like she said, trying to develop a little bit of a systematic and kind of cohesive process across the board in terms of, what programs we're accepting, what programs we're offering, and kind of all the factors that she said, enrollment, how much revenue generate, drive the demand from the community, right? And I guess the various offerings, right? We don't just want to have one specific offering, we're going to offer multiple different activities. So kind of taking all those things into consideration as we're kind of revamping this review process. And as you said, it's part of the CAPRA accreditation, which kind of, is leading the charge as well. So,
Sounds good. Right, and then, actually, I'll say again, there's gonna be public comment on this item. And. Reports out there, I'll actually read that, it's great. And, okay, so no public comment with that, public comments closed, and we discuss, and let's see. Next is item F3, last item is F3, the tentative job calendar.
So I think we're actually on item that too. I
Oh.
don't have anything to share on that, but
Good.
I'll just take a couple comments just so we make sure we check all our boxes.
Sorry, item F2, Library and Community Services Department updates and statistics. Staff will provide a brief presentation on this item.
Didn't have a presentation, just please receive this information.
Okay.
To you, there's nothing major in this one, just some updated statistics and.
Sounds good, we'll read about that, okay.
We
And
did have our 4th of July recap in there, very wonderful event, very successful. I don't have the final count yet, but I will in next month's statistics, but I think it was 3,000 or over. People attended, so really good turnout this year. That's the main thing.
that's great,
Lots of thanks to our wonderful events person, Jen, also for always making that special and happening right now. She's doing concert in our.
great. Any public comment on this item, your report? And there's no, no comment from commissioners with that. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Okay, comment from commissioners.
Yes, concerts in the park, a lot of the meals created, last year, very well done. I would be interested in hearing how people may local event purchase from yesterday.
The Play Local event at Burgess yesterday was great. Aside from the heat, it was fantastic. We got a good turnout. Between the parents and kids, probably, I want to say 30-ish people.
That's great.
We had a few activities set up. We had a couple mini bounce houses set up. We had Mr. Softly come by and provide some snacks and some refreshments for the kids. So that was super exciting. And all things considered, it went great. We have a couple more. The last one on Tuesdays will be at Sharon, and then the Saturday one, August 8th at Willows.
Cool. I know we had Harrison, we had some similar feedback for the first one. And it's really cool. I like that you guys decided to have ice cream vendor and it just turned out to be
Yeah, they,
very warm yesterday, so it was a very.
it was good timing and they will be a part of the last two as well, so we're super excited about that. But hopefully it's not gonna be 90-ish on all those days, but yeah.
Wow. Very cool, thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? No, okay, now let's go to the item F3. The last item, the tentative agenda on calendar. All right, we can just jump into. So let's see, we are. August.
Yeah, yeah, it's bigger.
Yeah. She's hitting the keys faster than the computer can go. She's very fast.
It does get really, really slow when all the things are happening. It's very reluctant to do what it's supposed to do.
Okay. Here's the work planning. Part 2 importance. Sponsorship. So the event policy sponsorship, review is a staff presentation.
Yes.
Okay. And then we need to close on our work plan for the coming year, so. So everybody read up on that, on our bullet points and maybe review back on its meeting. So if we look at the unagenda, I was talking about the bottom, so they can need to move up. Have got anything else we need to agendize for this meeting? No, okay, I think we're all set, so. That, I have to ask, do we have any public comment on the proposed agenda?
Are there any public comments on item F3? No.
All right, so we have, we're closed on this item. And I'll also remind the commission that, myself and Justin Van Buren, meet a week or two beforehand with staff. We have an agenda meeting. We just double check that everything that's on the agenda will happen. And if something's late, like the staff isn't ready for a certain presentation, we might take it off the agenda and move to the next meeting. So just so the commission's aware that meeting is happening. Okay, and then let's go to item G1, individual commissioner reports. Would any commissioner like to make a short report out on items of interest to the entire commission?
2 weeks ago, I went to the city council meeting because we received the proclamation. As they proclaimed, July is the Parks and Recreation Month for the city of Menlo Park. I have the proclamation in the file cabinet in my office, and I didn't get to stop there or whatever. So I'll have it next month. So it's a teaser for everyone to be excited. About the proclamation. It'll be fabulous, but yeah. And I think that all the staff is doing a great job. Thank you.
We'll say personal thanks for going to that, because I was out of town, so much appreciated. Okay, with that, see me. Right, no more comments on this item, so with that, I will adjourn the meeting. at 8:02 p.m.